Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hola, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in the chat, double tap and hit like. Make sure you subscribe. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Whoever joined the chat, welcome. See the poll question. Do you stay in your lane? Do you stay in your lane? I have a good reason for this question, but I'm going to let some more people get in the chat. It takes a couple of minutes usually. But while we're waiting, where you checking in from? Make sure you like and subscribe. I do morning coffee and conversation. Sometimes I have a topic. Sometimes I don't, but somebody else will bring one to the table. Sometimes we're just really just small talking it until I get ready to work. So come on in. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Y'all make sure y'all double tap and hit like for me, okay? It is a dreary Thursday, but I actually feel very bright in spirit. I feel like it's going to be a great day. I actually like rainy days. Oddly enough, when it's about to rain, I get tired. When it's actually actively raining and cloudy, I get energized. I don't know why. I don't know why. Good morning, everybody. You got your coffee? Come on in the chat. Come on in the chat. I ain't even get dressed first this morning because I was like, I'm finally going to get on here before 8:30. And by the skin of my teeth, I made it. Hey, y'all. Good morning. Come in, double tap. Y'all, I got face serum on. So excuse if I look extra greasy. Okay? Let's see. I'm going to go in so I can be in the chat and pin any comments I need to from my desktop. How's y'all's Thursday going? We almost to Friday, y'all. Today is my baby boy's birthday. Sent him off to school. He turned 11 today. Hey, Shaki, how you doing? How's your day going? I'm trying to find. I'm back here listening to vlogs while I wait for people to get in the chat. Thursday is a payday? Okay, cool. So it's a great day. It's a wonderful day. Hey, Break Forever. Yeah, happy birthday to Julius. Hey, Charles Jackson, how we doing this morning? How are we doing today? Y'all, I said I'm going to stop yelling at my phone. It's right here. And yet, I keep doing it. And then I end up raspy afterwards. He was so excited about his birthday, y'all. So I got to take him some donuts for his classmates. And then we're going to have a little small something here today. But we'll do more this weekend. Probably go get some seafood because he loves seafood. But y'all see the topic. Make sure you vote on the poll. Make sure you double tap. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe. But you're always welcome to introduce other topics if you're new in the chat. But I just always like to kick it off with a poll question. So do you practice staying in your lane? And you know why I'm asking that question? Because, like, do y'all scroll through the lives? Do y'all scroll through YouTube? You be on Instagram? What other? TikTok? And I think a big problem that we're dealing with now is so many experts with so little expertise. And that's on so many topics. Do you stay in your lane? Eric, hey, what's up, Eric? I'm just flipping through waiting for my truck to get loaded. I don't troll and I don't harass. I do stay. Good, Eric. It's good that you both figuratively and literally, since you are driving, stay in your lane. Simone, I'm not what, honey? Welcome to the chat. Charles Jackson, blessed. Thank the Lord. Yes, thankful for a brand new day. Thank you for a reset every single day. A brand new day to have another great day or to improve on the previous one. And Charles, it's probably like a great day, a way to start off the chat too. Is to kind of like say what we're grateful for. So thank you so much for setting that example, because I was about to go in complaining. Janet Willett, good morning. How are you, Janet? But yeah, by stay in my lane, I just mean like, there's so much discourse on the internet and people arguing about things. And then the people that are arguing don't even represent the population they're arguing for. Point in case. These people having conversations about rich people problems, or what the wealthy think, or what the 1% think. Not even the 1%, like dating advice on how to get a rich man, or dating advice on how to get a high value woman. And it's like, first of all, I don't hear anybody that's actually in those categories having these stupid discussions. That's the first thing. Good morning, Janet Willett. Thank you so much for subscribing. Janet, how old are you? Because that is the lingo that my son uses. Simone Lindquist, thank you, Lord. Yeah, thank you, Lord, for another day. Janet Willett, how old are you? Guys like insult or else you would not a skibbity athlete. Oh my gosh, that's teen speak, Janet Willett. How old are you? You checking in from Turkey, Demlax QXX? Welcome to the chat. What time is it in Turkey? I'm assuming it's probably later in the day. It's 8:34 here. So what time is it over there? And what do y'all have planned for today? Question, very random question. When y'all watch creators on YouTube, do y'all, and they get commercials on their videos, do y'all sit and watch them through? Or do y'all always hit skip? Those PJs. Yeah, Zach got these for me. I kept them on today. It's 1:34 in the UK, MC. Hammer. Haha, I got it. MC. Roblox was banned from Turkey. Why did they ban it? Probably because it's kind of like the social media aspect of it. Y'all can basically communicate. I don't know. I'm going to let them answer that question. Work, oh my gosh, Charles. Work is the hardest thing for people to exercise, staying in their lane. That's why half the time, and I guess it's in any setting, but in corporate settings, I had to get out of that life. Because half the time, nothing can get done because everybody's trying to do everything, yet nothing at all. Always poking your nose in somebody else's business is a good way to distract from the fact that you're not handling your own. And I learned that in a corporate environment, but it applies to life in general. Keeping your nose in somebody else's business. And it's one thing to, like, even at work, it's one thing to have input, to have a conversation about what somebody else is doing, to see how you can make it better for everybody else. But the problem is everybody's an expert in everybody else's field or lane or category. And I'm like, why don't you stay in your lane? Thank you, Kenny Holcomb. Inappropriate games. Is that why it was banned, Janet Willick? I'm trying to understand. I'm assuming you're not really Janet. Are you on your parents' account? Hey, Kalabi Pants. What's up? Happy Thursday. How are you doing today? But I used to have several bosses like that in the same office. It was like the culture of the company, and I won't say which one, but like they were managers and supervisors, but they didn't want to actually take the responsibility of making managerial decisions or supervisory decisions. So what they did was they always stayed in the weeds of everybody else's like business and stayed busy doing, like, if I'm not a manager and you're the manager, why are you spending so much time in the weeds of the things that I'm doing? You should be up here. You should be trying to get some bigger level things done. And that the same thing applies in real life. Oh, Charles, I was like, Kenny, you know this man? I was like, no, I see his comment now. There's only one thing people need to do, and that is this. Always be the best. Exactly. Always be the best version of yourself every day. And if we focus on that more, then everything else will fall in line. But especially on social media, I find that people become obsessed with certain lifestyles and certain demographics of people, whether it be who people love, whether it be certain races, whether it be certain genders. They get obsessed and focused on why they're supposedly the problem, and they create whole platforms on speaking on lifestyles they don't even belong to. Especially with this whole, it's kind of dying down, but that whole high value thing used to work my nerves. That whole high value like, just be you, be the best version of you, and stop focusing on rich people problems. Like, I'm middle class, okay? Middle class, rich adjacent. Y'all will figure that out if you keep watching what I mean by that. But personally, I'm middle class, okay? So why would I get online, okay, on Beyonce Aloysius Knowles' good old internet, and sit up here and have a whole 2-hour discussion about the mindset of rich men or rich women or people in a category I don't apply to? Can't touch this. Hey, Antoine, how you doing? Welcome. No, that's not my husband, but my husband also, he also moderates. No problem, Kenny. It's no problem to ask. You still being respectful, so you cool. But they will time out people that come in with craziness. But no, you're fine. North CFX, you need to lose weight, bro. Aw. Did that make you feel better? Come on, keep it coming. Don't even time out North C. Just let him keep going until he feels better about himself. Antoine Jones, we the Jones over here. Thank you, Simon K. Gotla. Kenny, it's 8:40 in the morning. Well, first of all, it's my boyfriend. But second of all, it's 8:40 in the morning. People don't always walk around with rings on, but I am with someone. Okay? Thank you, Simon K. Gotla. So what y'all got going today? Any interesting or exciting weekend plans? Any exciting weekend plans? So we were supposed to go on a boat this weekend, on my dad's boat. Hey. Was really excited about that because my dad loves his toys. So this was he traded in his old one for a newer one. It had a little cabin at the bottom. We got to be bougie. Babs, no. Come in. We're just gonna get to live, you know, be in nature, but also be a little bit bougie this weekend. Come here. But the weather, I am not going out in the ocean with this hurricane weather coming in. So we're still gonna go to North Carolina, but we will not be live streaming from the boats. You sure on the timeout because I'm locked and loaded. Big Cap, you talking about North Sea? Nah, I ain't worried about it. Understand. Big Cap, good morning, bro. Yep. I'm going to run at the Olympics. It's my first time. That's my plan for the weekend. At the Olympics? Elaborate, Simon K. Gotla. Hey, hey. I'm on live. And wherever you checking in from, are y'all getting any of this hurricane weather? Because it's starting to roll in here. So prayers up for Louisiana because I do believe that's where... Zach, did you say that's where it's supposed to hit? What's this hurricane called? Francine? I'm about to look it up. Oh, it's a tropical storm now, I think. I'm seeing it called two different things, and there's a big difference. So I don't know what it is. Tropical storm, hurricane, but either way, y'all be safe out there. All of my folks in the southeastern part of the U.S. I'll be on daddy duties this weekend. My wife got to work out of town. She will be in Ohio. Oh, okay. How old are y'all's kids, Antoine? Zach, Charles said, what's up?
What's up?
Okay, you run the 100-meter. I thought that was over though. That's what I'm saying, Simon. I really did. Pardon my ignorance, but I don't really follow. I watched the Olympics because I wanted to see if what's his name actually won the 100. What's his name? Hey, Ilhan. I'm sorry. I don't understand. You have to translate. But good morning. How did you do? Oh snap, Big Cap. It's your 15-year anniversary, so you're getting for this weekend. Happy anniversary. Tomorrow will come and girl, I can't wait. It's an anniversary. Big Cap anniversary weekend. 15 years.
Oh, that's dope.
You all right?
She been out?
Yeah, she went out. Oh, nut.
Running.
Kicking up dirt, barking, like, just acting a fool.
I forgot I had clothes in there. It is clothes in there.
You all right? Okay. Big Cap, you said y'all's anniversary day is also my son's 11th birthday. So we all celebrating a little bit, but that's big things right there. 15 years. Congratulations. I say in first, I love chocolate. Elon, okay. Well, welcome to the chat. Yes, may God bless you with many, many more. That's right, Antoine. See, that's what I'm saying. Big Cap, you need to be the one on here giving. That's another way people don't stay in their lane, though. You need to be the one on here giving some marital advice. People be married for 2 seconds online trying to give advice about how they stayed married. For 2 days? For 2 days? I need y'all to make it past that 7-year itch before you start like a couple's advice channel. Or at least be married. So, Big Cap, give us some advice. What has been your number one thing in keeping what I'm hoping and praying is a happy, overall happy and healthy marriage? What's your number one piece of advice? Because that's not the people I see giving advice on relationships. It's always single people. Single people, or they've been married for like 2 years, they still in the honeymoon phase, or they got married it's like they were so excited to have a platform, not even married. They just wanted to have a platform and be a life coach or whatever it is, that they didn't actually live what they preach yet. So now, because what we do, other people will say, Big Cap, see, now I'm intrigued. You don't have to share if it's too personal. But now I am not going to lie, I'm intrigued. But, okay, even without giving the details, that's the whole thing. How can we give prepackaged marital advice to people and say, this is what you need? Like, you can give people examples of what may work in your relationship, but that is not going to apply to the masses. And I think that's where most people are lost, is they listening to all this advice about what he should do, what she should do, and this is how it works. When reality, first of all, you need to know what works for you, what works for them, and what works for y'all as a couple in compromise. I make sure it's always about us. Even though we have kids, we make sure we don't lose ourselves. See? And that's good enough. See, you did that without details. Oh, Big Cap. I'm going to leave that alone. Y'all behave this weekend, Big Cap. Or don't. Whatever works for y'all. Charles Jackson, tell me when to go. Where'd that come from? Boom, 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 boom. Hey, McDowell family, how you doing? Yeah, I knew what you meant, Big Cap. I knew what you meant. But anyway. McDowell family, how y'all doing today? One of my friends is a stay-at-home dad only because his wife makes over 100K. I could never do that, but it worked. Exactly. Exactly. And for another person, like you said, you could never do that. So it baffles me. It boggles my mind when people say, this is what you need to do to catch and keep a husband, and this is what you need to do to keep a wife, or to be a good man to your wife. When people are so complex. So, like, let's keep it real. Marriage for compatibility is purely for compatibility. Let's say that. It's fairly new, right? So giving advice about from a fully traditional standpoint, for women who ain't fully traditional no more, and men ain't fully traditional no more, and that's not a negative. That's just saying times have changed. Sometimes both people work. Sometimes, like you said, there's situations where the woman might make way more, and it just makes more sense for the man to not work and to help with the child, especially if having someone at home is important to them. So it's not that it's a negative, it's that we have to adjust. And we keep trying to fit a square peg into a round hole and say this is how you stay happy for the rest of your life. No. But yet and still, I always see people giving this prepackaged relationship advice, not about learning yourself and what you really want before you get into a relationship. It's always like this set of rules of how to catch somebody. And my husband back to, oh, he's feeling better. So is he all the way back to 100%, or just like much better but still kind of sick? McDowell family. Because he had COVID, right? Tell me when to go. Boom. Now, Charles, you're going to have that song in my head. Hold on. Like 97%. Okay, well, that's still good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Because you said just, what was that? Like almost a week ago? Not even a week ago. He was barely getting it up and down the steps. So I'm glad to hear that. That can be a scary thing. It does seem like people are starting, even though people are still getting very sick, people are starting to be able to, I don't hear so many cases of people being hospitalized, but I lost a really good friend during COVID. Zach lost family members. So I still kind of worry when people tell me, oh, that's right, you both were sick. Just a little, McDowell family. People know I'm married, but don't ask for advice. I don't know why, but I never offer advice until they ask. Because people don't want realistic advice. They want sensationalized advice, something that sounds right, but might not necessarily be right. They like to hear. I don't know why. I don't know why people don't ask. People, if you start really paying attention to these podcasts and these channels, you realize that very rarely do they actually speak to people that represent where they're trying to get to. They talk to other people that's in the same question mark part of the journey that they are. Really, all of us are still, working it out. Is day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, right? But rarely do they speak to people that are deeper in the journey. I don't know why either. Just stop by to say, hey, I'm at work right now. Oh, hey, Keep Butler, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a great day at work. You still have a little coffee. Make sure you drink plenty of fluids, okay? And don't forget, I think I mentioned to you before, remember that black seed oil, if you can get some. The biggest advice I can give any married couple is to put God first and keep your business in your house. Yeah. Keep your I don't know, Antoine, but what about, I know a few women that have slid into some pretty bad situations behind the guise of keeping your business. I agree with you though. I guess that would be an exception. I know what you mean. McDowell's give us some. We have you in prayers. Yes, definitely. Hey, what's up, Jess? How you doing today? Evan B. Zen. Hey, how you doing, Evan B. Zen 1? I think I saw you on the weekend live stream, if I'm not mistaken. I sometimes tend to remember the most random things. Now ask me what I had for lunch yesterday. Ask me, because I don't remember. I'm pretty good, Evan B. Good to see you again. Good to see you again too, Jess. Oh, you were in there yesterday too? I didn't catch. Did I catch you? Maybe I didn't see you yesterday, but I definitely remember you from the weekend. Y'all know I'm gonna be streaming during football again. I don't know. I don't mind trash talk about sports, But I get so tired of the misogynistic comments that I don't know. It's annoying. It's very annoying. So I think I will. I think I am gonna live stream though. But when men jump in the chat and be like, "Well, who's the QB?" Like, oh my gosh. And it's like, on certain days I don't care, and other days I'm not in the mood for it. I'm really not. Oh, y'all, that's right. I'm gonna be in North Carolina. I'm still gonna live stream. I just don't know how much I'm gonna be in front of the TV for the game. And I'm gonna be filming for my first recent vlog while we're in North Carolina, because I'm ready to start vlogging again. It takes a lot of work to vlog. It takes a lot of work to edit vlogs, I should say. Picking up the camera is easy. Editing, especially if you put a lot into like the details and the music and stuff, is not. But I'm ready to start vlogging again. I do have a Helsinki, Finland vlog going up Sunday, so I hope y'all watch. Oh, y'all, if you're in here, remember to double tap and hit like and answer the poll question for me. And subscribe if you haven't already. But mostly I'm seeing like some of my regular chat contributors in here, which is good. I love that. But I want to welcome new people as well. All right, let me go look and see what else we got going on here. I think I'm finna go on and eat breakfast. I really gotta get back on my intermittent fasting, y'all. But for right now, I'm finna eat these pancakes. But I'm about to get back on it. Google that or lane. Google that served by the Q. Right. Right. But yeah, y'all, I gotta get back on my health thing. 2024 has been a year for me. I don't know about y'all. Mac or Die TV, what's up? Good morning, top of the morning. Welcome Mac or Die to TV to the chat, y'all. How you doing this morning? You just left Greensboro? Antoine, I'm going to Clemens. It's outside of Charlotte. That's where we're going this weekend. And we're going to be at my dad's house. Since the weather is not, we can get on the boat. We can get on the boat still. He has a Boston Whaler. I don't know if y'all know about those, but it's not going to flip. But is it going to be a pleasant ride? No, I'll pass. I'll pass. So we're going to end up being outside of Charlotte. But yeah, so like that Charlotte airport is wild. I haven't been in Charlotte airport in so long. We're driving though, because we're not that far. Macadai TV is just a 4-hour drive, if that, if traffic is, if traffic is okay. Oh, I left these in the microwave way too long. Jeez. I'm about to boil it up. It can't be too much more worse. It can't be too much worse than the Hartsfield-Jackson, though, the Atlanta airport. Well, actually, Hartsfield-Jackson, for all of the ways people complain about it, is for the amount of flight traffic they get in there. I love Hartsfield-Jackson. It's one of the easiest airports to get around in. You literally just follow the signs, even though it may look intimidating to some people. So it can't be too much worse than that. Your family's from Hickory? Isn't that close to Winston? Or is it in between like Winston and Charlotte, right? Yeah, we'll be out there. We'll be in Clemens this weekend. We might go see my grandma. Now, y'all talking about country. She's like outside she's in Elizabethtown. Y'all know what, you ever heard Elizabethtown, North Carolina? But yeah, we're gonna do some live streaming. I'm gonna do my vlogging. Gonna do some working out. I gotta get back on it. That's where 2024 has been a ride, okay, y'all? There have been so many ups and downs, loops, turns. Still blessed, right? Still blessed beyond measure, because at the end of the day, God had me at every turn. Every problem that came our way, there was a solution, albeit maybe inconvenient. Albeit inconvenient, in the long run, it worked out for the better. But when I tell you every single thing this year was flipped upside down, inside out, still going through some stuff now. And what I realized is my body, I won't say it's suffering, but it's affected. So I got to get back on to being proactive about my health in a consistent way. Because stress, literally, most diseases, especially at the age I'm at, can be linked back to what stress does to the body. Do we have the one with the 2 engine? Do he have the, he has, I'm gonna tell you, dang, I'm on my phone. I think he has Boston Whaler. It has to, I believe it does have 2 engines. It has a cabin. I think it has a 420 Outrage. The one that he had before was a little bit smaller, and there was no inside cabin. No, there was an inside cabin, but it was just the bathroom. This one he upgraded. I do think it has dual engines. Y'all, my dad is a gadget guy. It's got all the satellites, fishing satellites, Wi-Fi connections, emergency equipment, and then under it there's actually a cabin, like with a little bar area. Of course, when I say bar, we're talking about boat safe bar. Not open, but it's got like a little sofa seating section on the inside, and I haven't seen it in person yet. You do a lot of saltwater fishing? Yeah, Antoine, I think it's a 420 Outrage that he ended up getting. I think. So we really could go out on it, but it won't be comfortable. And y'all, my dad can drive anything, but he can't comfortably drive nothing. That man, the last time we went out with him, and he kept hitting them cross waves, I almost got launched off the darn boat, and he acted like nothing was happening. It might have more than, I'll confirm it for you, Antoine. It's in my phone, because he actually, when he was getting it, he was so excited. He was sending me the YouTube videos of the boat, but I can't check it because I'm on live right now, and I don't have my other phone down here with me. Hold on, let me get some syrup. Okay. Oh wait, fork. I'm gonna try not to smack all in the live stream, y'all. Hope y'all enjoy that film. We will, Charles. Thank you. We definitely will. Definitely will. It's relaxing going to his house too, cause I don't know if y'all know about Clemens. Isn't per se, well, Clemens itself is country, but it's close enough to Charlotte to get, you know, You got a good amount of shopping there, but it's close enough to Charlotte that you can just hop on the interstate if you want a little bit more activity, but it's far enough out in the middle of nothing that you could easily kind of like kick back, enjoy nature, and not have to worry about all the hustle of being in the city. Your aunt used to live where, in Morganton, Antoine, or Hickory? I feel like we had I say we, I used to work for, so y'all North Carolina folks, y'all should know about Novant Health. I used to work for Novant. I feel like we had a distribution center in Hickory. I think. But I'm not sure. Hey, Anthony Alexander, how you doing? Both of them? Goodbye, guys. Grace. I know that's right. Good. What you got planned for today, Anthony? Or for the weekend? Any weekend plans? And if y'all don't mind, if you're in here and you weren't in here before, go ahead and double tap and hit like for me, okay? Y'all, I'm not upset, but I really wanted to go out on the water. But I'm glad to know now that the weather ain't nice than to be out there in the middle of it and then all of a sudden have to be dodging storm clouds. Actually, y'all, I know it's crazy. I don't mind rough, like sailing or boating in rough water. It's actually fun, but it terrifies me with my children. So I rather know ahead of time because the kids are coming out there with us, and they're excellent swimmers and all. But I just don't even want to. That's a whole different beast. Falling off a boat versus just jumping in a pool, two different things. Okay, the ocean versus the pool. So it terrifies me with my kids to be out there on something rough. I actually don't mind being out in kind of rough waters, like at all. Big Cap, I'll go fishing, catch a fish, and then throw it back. Even if it's a good catch, Big Cap, you won't keep it. You don't eat your catch ever? I'm headed to court in a while. I haven't. Oh, you the lead investigator. I was about to say, what you mean? Anthony Alexander. Oh, wow. Thank you, Krish. That's interesting. That is so interesting. Do you enjoy doing that? Do you enjoy, he said fishing. Oh, Lord. He heard fishing. He jumped in the chat. You don't like to scale them? Understandable, Big Cap. Zach will catch it, scale it, debone it, fillet it, fry it, lay it to the side, sauce it up, and put it on a plate. And I love that, but I can't. The sound, the scales flying everywhere. I can't even do it. Chris, I can't. I'm already with somebody. Lucas, are you going to school today? Hmm? Lucas, behave. Go to school, okay? You shouldn't be in grown folks' chats, okay? Be careful about these chat rooms you wander into. You're a CSI homicide detective, hard work but fulfilling. Oh, that sounds so interesting. You know, I used to, okay. I don't know if you were in here for that chat, Anthony. So I wanted to go to school for music performance. I did, but I switched my major to psychology. And then I wasn't sure what kind of psychologist I wanted to be and what I wanted to go, you know, get my further education for. I used to want to do forensic psychology. I used to want to profile those, like the sociopaths, the weirdest of the weird. I always had interest in profiling behaviors and categories. Like even now, I don't even watch those shows though. That's the crazy part. People are obsessed with murder homicide shows. I don't find interest in those actual shows, but I love trying to see if I can predict or categorize who, like profile who they're looking for. Now, mind you, I don't have any training beyond undergrad. It's just been an interest of mine forever. So that's cool. That's very cool to me. Can I time Lucas out for not being in school? Yeah, you can. But he could be in another, I mean, it's 9:13 Eastern time. It's only 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. in Cali. So you can time him out for being too young to be in this chat. They need to be careful. Cause I know my boys get up, if they get up early, they'll be online, but usually it's on like the game, or they'll be watching anime stuff on Netflix. But he might not be in school yet. Criminal behavior analysis course. But is that enough to work with like crime scene investigation or any of that? Or you mean just to fulfill that interest? Because I did finish the degree, but I didn't specialize in, you can do all kinds of psychology focuses in undergrad now. I didn't do a focus on any particular aspect. Okay. Yeah, that would be fun though. Don't matter. He should be learning something at 9, not chilling with grown folks. See, that's part of stuff. That's right, Big Cap. He needs to stay in his lane. In grown folks' business. He all in grown. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I'll definitely be interested in doing that though, Anthony Alexander. Like I said, 2024 has been a heck of a year. But I do, that's a good idea. I could probably even go back to my, do it at my school, maybe even at a discounted rate. I don't think I qualify age-wise yet for a discount just based on that, because I'm 42. But I went to Georgia State. So I wonder if they have like an online option for something. I know they would. If any school would have it, because Georgia State's big on like their criminal justice side, their law school, all of that stuff is pretty pretty big and pretty detailed. So I'm pretty sure they have a course. I just wonder if I could do it online. Heck, I might not even have to do it online, Anthony. I could probably just go around and interview my family members. Zach's gonna laugh at that one. I probably could just sit there and interview them and see what makes you do what you do. If it's for a job, criminal psychology and forensic science is a must. Some knowledge of law is good. Okay. Anthony, listen, when I say some of them literally, I don't talk to them though. When the ones that are this bad, God, I wonder. It's harder to see a thing when it's up close sometimes, right? So to everybody else, if I profiled you to them, their behaviors, their mannerisms, how they act, you would say they probably got sociopathic tendencies, if not fully sociopathic. But all jokes aside, I don't deal with that person. Unfortunately. Whew, child. But yeah, I can see myself doing the courses. Maybe not committing at not because of my age, but because of that's a big life change. But I could definitely see just starting the courses just because I'm that interested in it, not closing myself off to it. But I don't see myself starting it right now with the dead set on the intention of actually turning it into a career. But I find it that interesting. So maybe I'll just start and just, who knows in a few years where it would lead. But I might just take a course or two. All things about the darker sides of psychology I'm interested in. And when I say darker, it's not always like serial killers and murderers, but just like, have you ever seen Soft White Underbelly? Any of y'all? That page, they typically interview homeless people from Skid Row. But a lot of their stories are just very like heart-wrenching and sad. A lot of them are prostitutes. A lot of them are drug addicts. And every now and then you get ones that aren't. Matter of fact, for like when I was in college, we had to do part of my psychology. Now don't get me, I can't remember which class it was for. I almost feel like it was part of, oddly enough, my statistics class, because for psychology, you got to take a lot of statistics and learn how to, assess data and whether it's relevant or not. But anyway, I remember we went out and interviewed a bunch of homeless people in Atlanta, Georgia State, right? The part that sits right in the middle, I can't even remember the name of it, of downtown. Not Centennial Park, but it's another little small park that sits kind of in the middle center of where all the buildings are. And we went out and interviewed a lot of homeless people and talked to the ones that were willing to talk to us. And a lot of them had no addiction, had no major health issues, had no big moments. They just checked out of society. And I just love digging into like what will make a person just decide or be brave enough, I mean, depending on how you look at it, to just stop participating. I know my friend had to arrest one of my relatives and question them to their behavior. Oh my goodness. Y'all. Oh, I wish I could tell y'all something right now, but I can't. But yeah, I understand that. Not from a risk standpoint, but just, what are you thinking? And why do you think that what you're thinking is logical? Boss Zach, big cap, need a bonus. Good mod work. My barber just had it playing in his shop. It was on The Lovely Ladies That Walk the Streets, if you catch my drift. Oh, he was watching Soft White Underbelly? Yeah. Yeah, I was watching one yesterday, this girl, but the interview was like 2 to 3 years old, and I really wonder where she is at this juncture in her life. But she was just talking about, it's not just about buying a home and giving them money, but, and it was very sad. And she said it's really about, she's like, we don't even know how to create a home with the house. Some of us don't even know how to create a home with the house that you give us, because it's just been, basically it's been taken away from them by life. And I was like, dang. And she was like, why? I don't know why it has to be like that, but you just never know what people go through. Must try. It pays well, and it definitely has a lot of great opportunities. I look into it, Anthony. Like I said, at the very least, I would totally start the classes, any courses or classes, just because I'm that interested in it. And when you are interested in a thing, it doesn't be like, oh, it doesn't feel like, oh, I got to take this class so I can, it feels like, I won't say a hobby, because you got to work. You do have to learn and actually, but it doesn't feel so much like a task, I should say, when it's something you're really interested in. So we'll see where it goes. Big Hat says, hold on, let me chew my food. I'm almost done eating. I've been watching old gender war interviews, and some of what they're talking about is still the same. It don't change, Big Cap. Just arguing into the air. Like, what? Like, you don't, and then you look at it, and I'm like, you probably, no one who actually has somebody they sincerely are interested in is having these arguments. Like, what do you, like, y'all just arguing about this fictional, maybe one day, someday person that doesn't even exist. To people, to younger people who don't even know who they are yet, they just know they should want these lists of things, only for them to catch it, put out the bait that they've told they should be putting out to catch this certain type of person, or to catch a man or to catch a woman, only to find a relationship won't last because, oops, you know what? I don't really like a man catering to my every need. I like to be in charge, or I don't really want my woman to do X, Y, and Z. I like it this way. Like, it's crap. And they stay having the same arguments over and over and over again about this prototype of a person that, like, how about you find somebody you like first, and then you navigate that relationship? They're not going to be the same as this person over here. I'm dealing with a case of a man who beat and decapitated a little girl of a woman who wanted to end their relationship. I'm so sick of them stories. Why? So yeah, I know it's tough understanding what goes through a person's mind. And Anthony, like, why do they when I say they, I mean people that fit that profile. Why is it that you always have to kill the person? It's a very self-centered, selfish, listen to me. I hate the word narcissistic, not because it doesn't exist. And I'm talking about NPD disorder, the disorder. But because everybody uses it for everything. When you truly have dealt with somebody who more than likely has NPD, because they don't go to the therapist, so most of them don't have a diagnosis, it kind of discredits it. But I will say, to that level, I would say, like, and you know better than me, but being a sociopath, and not all sociopaths are killers, right? That's an even smaller. There's a lot of people that are sociopaths that actually acknowledge that something's missing and they want to fit into society and they're actually, I won't say a lot, but there's more than what I realize that are actually getting help for it. Not they have no desire to murder anyone, is what I'm saying. They're just getting help, trying to like navigate, because even though you don't feel what other people feel, and you kind of look at them as I would look at this bottle of creamer. Like when I need it, I pick it up, I use it, I take it in, and when I don't need it no more, I put it down. Like, they all don't want to kill people, but they want to understand why if I treat a person like that, that's not appropriate, because it's weird. Like, they want to fit into society. They want to have friends. They don't feel the same things that other people feel about those friendships. So it can be very like talking to somebody with extreme like autism or something, where they're very matter of fact, right? So I know not every sociopath is a killer, but it's like, what makes some of them killers to where there's no, like, I guess, what is it? The lack of impulse control that makes the difference? I guess it's impulse control. You tell me, Anthony, what's the difference? And when I say old, I mean 7 to 10-year-old. It don't change, Anthony. You know why it's never going to change? Because there are some of them that actually have those podcasts in those shows and had the same arguments, and they know it's profitable even if they think it's right. At some point, I really fully believe they know that some of the advice they give is BS. They like to stir up controversy because it's clicks, views, and paychecks. It's kind of like Big Pharma, right? Treating the symptoms of a problem and not actually treating the disease keeps people coming back for more, right? And it's not a disease, but it's a big issue on men and women not understanding each other. So if I tell you something that makes you feel good and actually catches you a man, but not keeps you the man that you actually love or like, you're going to keep coming back to me. And I'm going to keep telling you how he's the problem and you're not the problem. And how you just got to keep fighting, queen. You know, someday he'll see your worth. And when men do X, Y, and Z, this is why they do it, and they're selfish. And then vice versa, the same for men who bash modern day women. It's like, I'm going to give you a Band-Aid. You're going to re-injure the wound. You're going to still have problems. You're going to come back and keep watching my podcast. You're going to buy my coaching package. They don't want people to actually connect. Thank you, Allison Shaw. I think the only thing I don't like about today's talk is when women ask us to hold other men accountable for something they didn't judge. Yeah, that is stupid. That is stupid. I don't like the whole accountability talk, period, on most of those podcasts, because usually I feel like accountability is a word that I should be using more in reference to self. If you really listen to what they're saying, every time the word accountability is brought up, it's usually one gender referring to another person taking accountability. That's a me word to me, not a you word. It's not for me to direct at you, because I can't control you, right? And the same thing, I keep seeing the question, why do women like accountability? And I think somebody asked that in my chat before, and I said, well, what do you mean by women? Because people lack accountability, right? And if you keep encountering people that lack accountability, what is the point of sticking around trying to make them accept it? And then you need to question why you keep entertaining people that lack accountability. I don't believe we attract who we are, because people would say that all the time. I think we entertain who we are in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be in that, anyway, I don't want to get too deep, but yeah, I don't like that whole accountability conversation on podcasts, because very rarely is it about a self-reflection type thing. It's about how somebody else don't have it. And then Alexander says, it's very selfish, self-centered, evil. Usually it's trauma from their childhood or very unhappy past relationships, plus mentally stuff. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, and looking at trauma, because that's like another thing I like to look at. That's where my question mark is, because most people with trauma don't do things like that, right? Most people with trauma it'll be either a self-inflicted type of harm, whether it be something like overeating. You watch the show Hoarders, right? Hoarding, whether it be poor interrelational skills or drug addictions or something like that. But then you have this segment of people where it goes to a whole nother place. So what is, like, I wonder what's the difference. I deal with somebody, I'll say this. I deal with somebody in my family who is y'all, if y'all hear squealing, my dog is back there having a dream of a lifetime. I don't know who she barking at, but in her sleep, she's barking. Anyway, I have a family member who literally is like dangerous emotionally to be around. They don't tell the truth. They're combative. They don't tell the truth. You put yourself in harm's way because you might be the next person they tell a lie on. They're basically a pathological liar. Very aggressive, very, very aggressive. But the story that they tell most people is this: because of their childhood that they act that way. And then when they explain what happened in their childhood, it's not to diminish what happens to anybody. It's not a contest. But it's so, come on, like the excuse that they give to justify their behavior and the ways in which they treat and mistreat and emotionally abuse other people is something that, like, I could probably tell you now 65% of the population has dealt with. Favoritism, one parent is a little more extreme than the other. I'm not talking about physical abuse. It's not like anything major. So for some reason, this person has used this to justify a whole lifetime of traumatizing other people. So like, it's just interesting to me. Big Cat says, also for the record, I will never hold another man accountable because I know it's a lovely lady that will still sit on his lap. Yeah. Big Cat, speaking on it. First of all, how do you hold somebody else accountable? Unless you're in the criminal justice system, such as Mr. Anthony Alexander is here. Detective Alexander, investigator. I'm not sure your proper title. But unless you're actually literally in the criminal justice system, as far as person to person, how do you hold your homeboy? How is that even possible? Because you say something to them, you're still not technically holding them accountable. Accountability to me implies some kind of like cost or penalty, or I don't know. But the only thing I would say is I don't understand why people aren't more honest about what they're actually seeking. Because there is, as you stated, there's always somebody who's willing to accept what we consider inappropriate relationship dynamics. Or like, some people are poly. Some people do, maybe they're not poly, but they have an open relationship. 9 times out of 10, if you're honest about that, somebody is going to be willing to participate. So that is true. But if you're on the receiving end of that and a man like lied to you to get you to participate and you realize they lied and all their homeboys knew, that's not for them to tell you. That's really not. We often deal with effects of bad, unhealthy relationships and not dealing with prevention. Loving oneself in a relationship with God is important. Yeah. A relationship with God is very important, Anthony Alexander. Anthony, don't get me started. But keyword relationship. One thing I noticed with a lot of people that don't have any kind of empathy is that they know that it's expected, so they emulate a relationship, what they think a relationship with God looks like, which is how you have a lot of people sitting in church who, and I'm not against church, Go to church, not every Sunday. I'm okay with church, but they're aware of that. So, but they don't know how, they don't feel that. Like the pathway ain't there. They don't really understand how they experience that, but they emulate it very well. A lot of psychopaths often act out of hurt or abuse from their childhood. Yeah, they do. I was actually looking at a study, Anthony, though, about what makes the difference in one abused child turning into I'm so sorry. Becoming a sociopath, psychopath, or acting out in certain ways versus another. And a lot of it is natural personality type. And I'm starting to see, now that I'm a mom, I learned early that there is a lot to nurture, but nature also has its place. My children, I nurtured them to a certain extent. But when I tell you the way that they acted in the womb, they still act like that to this day. The one that was high energy is still high energy, outgoing, type A. The one that was, I kept going to the doctor, he didn't move, he was kind of lazy. I would go days without motion and activity. He's still to this day a little bit lazy, very creative, but very much loves to be like up under. He's more of a snuggler type, right? So I had nothing to do with that difference. They literally were in the womb acting that way. So like they talk about the difference is with childhood trauma, because I'm going to be honest, I've dealt with childhood trauma that has gone on into adulthood, right? At the hands of a parent. That parent dealt with childhood trauma. They took a route of repeating the emotional abuse. I took the route of knowing what not to do. What not to do. And for y'all who've been on my channel before, it's clearly not the parent you've seen in this vlog. Or in this on my YouTube. It's not that parent. So, but they did say that the difference is often can be, not often, and I don't even know if it was where the study came out of. Was it Stanford? But sometimes it's almost predictable in a way. When they exhibit type A personality traits, or what do they call it? It's certain personality types. Once they categorize them, they were more likely. And I can't remember which ones, but that's what made they're finding out makes the difference oftentimes between how the trauma is handled and processed. Because so many people have so much trauma, but then it's like this one asshole decided that their trauma justified them going out and being like a psychopath. It's not what you know. What can you prove? Real talk, Denzel Washington training. I'm detective inspector homicide. My specialty is crime. Okay. Sometimes you have to do original pain therapy with a suspect or individual. Very often, the trauma starts from in the womb. That's interesting. That's interesting. I also saw something, and in a personal example in my life. Okay, let's like take it from personal. Y'all like love him or like him, whether he tells truth from time to time, whether he's actually a genius, because two things can be the truth at once, right? Whether you call him genius or crazy, because both can be true, and oftentimes both are. Let's like Kanye. They also talk about triggers that kind of open up that door. You know, some people have this little locked door in their brain. It's bolted, locked shut with a key. Everybody doesn't have that door. Behind that door is, I guess, unprocessed trauma. When people get in traumatic accidents or something too, I've heard of certain things being unleashed that were already there. The recipe was already there. The ingredients was already, and I know Kanye ain't, so as far as we know, ain't no murderer or nothing. I'm just saying, like, I also have heard and seen in my personal life how somebody can all be teetering over extreme, like, behavioral issues, and then they have something like a bad car wreck, a traumatic event, a gunshot wound or something, and then it just unleashes, like, all of that stuff that was already there. but it turns full-fledged into like, okay, bipolar, schizophrenia, NPD, all that stuff. Anyway, Anthony, you know what? Let me stop because I'll talk about this all day. I'll talk about this all day. And I don't want to lose the track, but okay, so words or visual effects can trigger neglected trauma. Yeah, that's so interesting. I think, okay, this is the last thing, and then I'm gonna get off of y'all. I think a big problem too is, I guess because the brain is such a mystery, people don't treat the brain like it's actually like an organ or like a part of the body. They treat it more like, I don't know how to compare it. More like it's a spiritual thing when you're talking about the brain, like it's there, but it's not really there. And so it's hard to get people to understand that you have to treat things in the, like trauma that happens, and before those neural pathways start to form in inappropriate ways to deal with the trauma. Like I have a family member that is incapable of understanding the emotions of others. And a lot of that comes probably from trauma. But trying to get other people to understand the danger in that and why they need to protect themselves from that person, they don't get it. Well, maybe if you talk to them a certain way, or maybe if you say this person has been acting like this for, I won't say all their life, so I say like 50-some years. I'm not even 50-some years old, but from the stories I understand before me, 50-some years of their life. And it's like being born kind of like without a leg or having a leg amputated. That trauma in the brain is just as serious, it's just as physical as having a leg amputated. And people think that if you talk to the person nicely, the leg will regrow or the trauma will heal or they won't be crazy, or all of a sudden you'll bring them in a place of understanding that their behavior is inappropriate. And trying to get people to understand that has been a struggle. Like some people just don't have the tools. Their brains have completely rewired into something unhealthy. Yeah, it sure is. Even neurology, I hear even neurological surgeons, brain surgeons will say the crazy part is they are such a specialized field in medicine, but they're that specialized and they still only understand what, 5% of what they're working on. What do you have planned for today? Oh shoot, you just reminded me. So I have to go. It's my son's birthday, so gotta go get donuts, drop him off at the school. My uncle is in at-home hospice care. He needs some supplies. Gotta go to the grocery store, take him the supplies, do a little decorating, maybe get some stuff for him here for his birthday, wrap some presents, that kind of thing. Mommy duty. Charles, you funny. He said the brain, you have to hydrate in order for the function of staying in your lane. You right, Charles. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. The neurologist knows very little about the brain. Yep. And to know the amount that they do know, it takes them an astronomical amount of additional education, additional hours in clinic, additional surgery hours, and that's still only to learn about this much, about that much. You know what I mean? Thank you, Anthony Alexander. The problem is our doctors didn't have a house on their team. Best not house. I love that show, but House needed a psychological profile his doggone self. But I used to love that show. He was like the MacGyver of medicine. Have any of y'all, but yes, I do stay in my lane and mind my own business. Have any of y'all seen that show Evil on, I watched it through Amazon Prime, but it's not an Amazon original. I think I don't remember. It's not HBO or Max. It's some other network. Have y'all ever seen that? Because that show is it's interesting. It's weird, a little bit weird. Some of the visual effects are a little bit cheap. But the scripting and the messaging through it is so interesting. So they talk about, so like the basis. Oh, you fell off, Anthony? I think you'd be very interested in how they ended it because they just had this series finale. So this was the last season. So I won't spoil it in case you decide to go back and check it out at some point. But I loved it. Some of it, it gets weird and you're like, do I want to finish watching this? But I think to me it's worth continuing on. But for those of you who don't know, it's like exploring or just creating a conversation about science versus religion or spirituality and how it's such a blurred line between the two. And I think the messaging to me is, again, two things can be true at once. Things can be scientifically significant, but just because you proved it through science doesn't mean there's an absence of a spiritual influence. Like, both can be true. And sometimes it's just science. Sometimes there is no answer and it's likely spiritual. It's just like a intertwining of the two. But basically they were talking in this about, like, I guess they're trying to get the Antichrist or whatever, a coalition of evil, trying to bring the Antichrist and raise him up in the world and, basically start the end of times. But it's very interesting. I won't go further than that because, like I said, I don't want to spoil it. But in our conversation about the brain and being undiscovered and not understood, that actually becomes a significant thing in the series. They don't even touch on it very long, but it's a significant aha moment in the finale of the series. I'm going to just leave it at that. It crosses a very very thin line. And what I do like is how they leave the show, some of the episodes open for interpretation. Sometimes they have a solid answer. Okay, this was a hoax. This was what this was. Sometimes they have no answer. They will end the episode. They'll resolve like an interpersonal problem, but they won't answer the question of what this incident was. And sometimes it's both. Sometimes they'll have a scientific explanation for a majority of what they saw, but then there's another aspect of it they don't even like, because it involves the Catholic Church intentionally working with skeptics that are psychologists, and like an engineering guy, because they want to figure out some of these occurrences that are being reported to the Vatican and figure out whether it's a spiritual threat or a scientific explanation behind it. And some of them, they figure out the scientific explanation, and sometimes it's a hoax. And then there's this other aspect that because they are skeptics, they just write it all off, but they never really did find an explanation for this other aspect. It's a really good show. But they talk about the Anthony on the last season. The brain is brought into it. I just leave it at that. Mental health and spiritual possessions is very delicate. Plus, I know I am Catholic and have dealt with exorcists. Oh, you're Catholic, Anthony? So I'm not Catholic, but I went to Catholic school as a youth. Sure did. So I'm very familiar with a lot of Catholicism. I went to Catholic school in elementary for several years. That was the first, like, my school experience would start off in Catholic school. And then in high school, I was put in an all-girls school for a period of time. In middle school and high school, I don't know why, as a form of punishment almost. I don't know, but so I'm familiar. What do you think about movies? Having the next sequel of a movie that shouldn't be replayed, like Set It Off. I think it's a good way to reintroduce the original to a new crowd of people, but it's never gonna live up to the original for us who saw it when it came out, because it's not just the movie, it's the nostalgia of what was going on in our lives and the feeling we had when we first watched it. So I think there's nothing wrong with it sometimes, but it's never going to be as good as the original. They did that also with Coming to America. Did you see that one? They did it with Coming to America. And it was what it was, but nobody's going to rewatch it like they rewatched the original. Part of my investigations take me to interview exorcists and physiologists. Oh, okay. Like, I'm living vicariously through you, Anthony. That is so interesting. Spiritual positions very delicate. That's very interesting. Because I'm going to keep it real. Like, I'll go ahead and say it. I believe that there's a little bit of both going on. And that's where I'm like, I don't think I'll ever know the answer to that. That's why I say, where is the split happening? What underlies me asking that question was why some people have trauma and go this way, and why some people have trauma and go that way. Yeah, you can do a brain scan. You can see that the neural pathways have been changed. But why? Where is the side chosen? Some of that I think is very much spiritual in nature. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I see it. I sense it. And I feel like sometimes people, in dealing with their trauma, and I'm not saying it's their fault, but they wish for certain things, and it brings out some inner demons in people. It's a vulnerable time that allows different spirits to latch on to people when you're experiencing trauma. And that's where it's like dangerous, because at some point I do believe that while yes, there is an actual physical explanation, there is also a moment of vulnerability in which almost you choose a path. But that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. And some people. And it's not victim blaming. That's why I'm gonna leave it alone, because it is a touchy subject. But are they just waking up the younger crowd? I sometimes it does, because I like to watch reaction videos on YouTube of people looking at older movies. And sometimes after sequels come out, okay, like Color Purple. Now this wasn't a sequel, this was a reproduction of this was a movie variation of the Broadway production, right? But when people see things like that, they do go back and they find out that, oh, this is from a movie from this time, or from a book, really. And I saw a bunch of people reacting to that and kind of renewing interest in the movie and opening it up to a whole crowd of people who would have never seen The Color Purple, had never even heard of it. So I'm assuming the same thing happens when stuff like Set It Off or Coming to America. I know they did it with Coming to America. I saw a lot of reaction videos to the original. And a lot of people commented that they wanted to watch it. It made me feel very old. Big Cap said he has a question. I have a question. Why are people asking for us black men to be leaders if everyone is doing their own thing? My first knee-jerk reaction or answer to that question is because I think, unfortunately, so many black men are vocal on some of these podcasts about wanting traditional, about how it's a reaction to the podcast crew. Because that whole Kevin Samuels movement and what's that guy? He's not even specifically targeting a black audience, but he captured a lot of black audience. He's in jail for trafficking, I believe, overseas. That other dude, I can't remember his name. But because there has been such a loud complaint about black women and us being too boisterous and us being too masculine and the whole passport bro and divesting from the community and the complaints about, I think unfortunately a loud small group has garnered a reaction from a whole nother group. Just like, who was that was talking about, y'all, we're not going political, okay? I'm not talking about no presidential candidates, but I'm talking about what Big Cap's question was. And it was either Boosie or somebody complaining about Kamala and what has she done for us, right? And there's this loud subset, if you go through these lives, of black men who support who they support, and it's not VP Kamala. And the whole reasoning behind it is we need somebody strong, we need leadership. So it's like a reaction to the extremist group that's very loud on social media. And while they do not represent, I do not believe by any means they represent the majority of black men. I don't. But they are very loud. And unfortunately, the ones with more reasoning skills, comprehension skills, ability to converse about these subjects are not, unfortunately, they have no interest in doing these podcasts. There is definitely evil. Trust me, I have witnessed exorcisms, but no one is born evil. Yeah, I don't think they're born evil. I think at different points we become what's the word, y'all? I just lost it. Susceptible. Especially when we're vulnerable. Andrew Tate, that's who it is. Yeah. Big Cap, listen, don't start with me. Don't start with me on that man. And before you start, I don't like him, but I don't like Miss Sprinkle either. I don't even remember her name. Don't start with me on Kevin Samuels. Please, please, Big Cap. Please tell me you playing. You're playing, right? You gotta be playing. You gotta be playing. But you still welcome here even if you're not. Big Cap. You still welcome. But Lord, why? Why? Anthony, he did too much. It wasn't even about how... He did too much, but he was another one who did not stay in his lane. He did not stay in his lane. He spoke upon things that he had no experience with. Listen, I say this as a person who, and again, no one person represents an entire group, but Kevin was talking out the side of his neck. He was a big capper, Big Cap. Big capper. No, I'm not. Y'all act like he was the worst thing to the black. No, I won't say that. He was just another big exposer of stuff that was already there. He drew out the feelings and the sentiments for. I don't think Kevin Samuels converted anybody into thinking a certain way. It was definitely damaging to the conversations that need to be had. But I don't think it's his fault. But If anything, the benefit is, you know, sometimes when you have a problem in the community, you first got to bring it up to the surface before you can clean it up. Well, love it or hate it, he brought up the problem, not in the way that his followers, I think, thought he did, in the way of just exposing the toxicity that already underlies the relationship dynamics in the dating scene amongst, I'll even say, a younger generation. Because I'm 42 years old. Who out here trying to trot around? Anyway, you just open up a can. So no, he could, if he was, he could have still stayed in here. It's all love, but he wasn't the worst thing. I think that sentiment is toxic though. It's a lot of lonely, angry people in the world. And I understand, although I don't condone why they react to their loneliness the way they do, I can see how it happens. I can see how, I mean, connecting with people is harder than ever, even with more electronic connectivity. So I get how it happens, but the answer is not to then turn it into anger and then turn it into somebody else's fault. And then the answer then is not to, I don't know, I don't like any of those coaches. What was he coaching people to do? It's easy. Let me tell y'all something. As much as people paint it as difficult, it's easy to get married. It is easy. It's not hard for any woman to go out in these streets and find somebody, anybody, to marry them. It's not hard. It is easy to find a woman, especially if you have money, to take care of you and do a checklist of things. Is it easy to build a life with someone? Hell no. And if you try to build a life with someone off of this high value, low value, fine, fit, and feminine BS, guess what? You're going to be highly disappointed. So I feel like he was setting people up for failure. He was also speaking for a group of men that he has no leg in the game. He did not stay in his lane. Kevin Samuels is not privy to that society. He wasn't even privy to that society. He played like he was. Like, that man ain't. Most men I know that are, first of all, especially like my age range or above, I would say in my age range, they knew. When you start talking about 50s, 60s, ones that really are, a lot of them didn't even know who this man was. And then when played a video and asked their opinion, found him to be crass and dead wrong. Dead wrong. Dead wrong. That you know through experience and act right. He went out of his lane a bit too much. And I'm a 51-year-old man, married 20 years today with a Korean woman who is a thank you. And that's all I'm saying, Anthony. He didn't know. Listen, I get it. People fantasize, especially in the Black community. They want to move it on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment. Everybody wants to move on up, right? Especially in our community. They just want a taste of success. Even if it's by way of marriage or affiliation. So people are desperate to find out how to, you know, and they want a shortcut, right? A shortcut to a certain lifestyle or a certain level of happiness. And unfortunately, men like KS capitalize on that. And I know this sounds crazy. I don't even know if I believe that man believed half the stuff he said. But it was profitable. It took him into a different level of income. And I wouldn't even call him wealthy. He wasn't wealthy. But it probably improved his financial situation to a point where he realized, hey, this is garnering attention. Let me just get a little bit more extreme. That dude, you welcome and chose positivity. I like it. I'm here for it. Thank you, that dude. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. That impression is good for the topic. Yeah, Anthony's impression. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times career people, men and women, successful entrepreneurs, men and women, are too smart to even participate in that conversation on a platform such as what Kevin Samuels was, or I don't even know the names of ones that are still around, but I catch. So whatever ones that are still around, they're not going to participate to the conversation because, for one, you have a career. You have a name, you have a brand. You're not going to get on these platforms and actually counter their point, because it's like, first of all, I don't have time for this mess, and they're not trying to listen, they're trying to make money. But two, like, no one of any actual concern about their own integrity or what they've built or their career would even ever go on those podcasts to speak up for this subgroup of people that he was so adamant on speaking for, that he didn't even belong to. Sprinkle is teaching the lovely ladies how to finesse. Sprinkle is teaching ladies what Kevin Samuels taught men and women, which is how to remain miserable. A lot of people are looking for companionship and love, and they don't realize that in looking for partnerships based off of those principles, they're only looking to appease the outside eye or to appear to come across a certain way. It has nothing to do with who they are at heart and who will actually match and fit them best in life. They're looking to appease the masses and not them in their home life. So all she's setting people up to do is to continue to be disappointed or to be used. A lot of women think they finessing, and they end up realizing they're the ones that got finessed. Same way the other way around. The best thing. Thank you. Thank you, Charles. I'm going to pin your comment. You can achieve success without bringing others down, playing on other people's hurt. Right, and that's what they're doing. I heard my pastor say something one day, and it wasn't that he was trying to drive people away from church, but he said, my goal here is not to have you dependent on coming in here to see me, to understand, to connect with God. That's not who I am. And in that case, you're idolizing me and not honoring God. He basically was saying his job was to give people the tools to access and keep their connection with God outside. If we don't see him for a month. Now, he's big on participating in church and being in church and all that other stuff, but that's how I feel about any good advice. If you are truly determined to help people, the point is to get them to a point where you don't see them anymore. And it's not because they crashed out and couldn't figure it out and they're at rock bottom. It's because they actually were able to implement the advice that you gave them, and their life is much all the better for it. It's like feeding people fish versus teaching them how to fish. And a lot of these podcasts are only handing people snacks, spiritual snacks, emotional snacks, feel-good doses of dopamine just to come get a hit from listening to them talk, knowing that they'll have to come back because it's not equipping them to go out and really navigate the dating scene. It's just making sure that they're relying on the podcast, the life coach for their inner value and worth, or to remind them of it, but they don't have the tools to know their inner value and worth when they actually go out and date people. Honey, y'all, I'm finna make one last cup of coffee. It's about empowering others to be self-sufficient. Yes, it's never about us. That's right, and that's the difference. And I have tried to tell, because again, I'm open for people having differences of opinions, but I think I've talked to men who really, and I say men not because it's only men who do this, but the most vocal that I've come across are men that support those chats, those podcasts and stuff. And honestly, most of my female friends are married. And I'm talking about happily. I mean, you know, relationships go through stuff. But a lot of the men that I know that are struggling with their singlehood, because you don't have to have a partner. That's the other reality. You do not have to have a partner to be happy. You don't have to. It ain't for everybody. But the ones that are struggling with their singlehood, I try to tell them this. It's not about me being right. I want you to understand, is this person that you are praising to the high heavens, reposting, is all this animosity that it fuels in you actually helping you to find what it is you want? As you repeating that the problem now is modern women, the problem is women don't know how, is that really the problem? Is this helping you? Or are you just fueling this inner rage that you seem to have because you can't seem to find what you want? Are you even the person that would attract what you want? Now, that conversation I have with women as well, or I've listened to, are you even the person that you claim you want? Are you even the type of person that will be able to sustain a relationship with that type of person? And a lot of times I get hit with a lot more animosity and anger as though I'm trying to harm them. I'm actually trying to help you. And you mad at me? You can be, oh, I have to go. My case starts in a few hours. Take care. Great conversation. Stay safe and blessed. You too. And good luck on your case, Anthony. Good luck. Ooh, and I got a few more minutes, and then we gotta go get these donuts and decorations for baby boy. Y'all, how about my other son came and told me, randomly he told us 2 days ago, hey Mom, now mind you, I'm half asleep. Mom, I've decided I want to take the engineering track in school and I want to go to Georgia Tech. What? Okay, what made you? He's 12. He's 12. But I'm so happy for it. I know that was random, but I just thought about that. And he seems so sincere about that too. Yeah, the type of person you want. Does that person want a person like you? Exactly. Exactly. Y'all hear that coffee running? I'm so loud in here. All right, y'all. Welcome to the chat for me. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Y'all have a random question. And I think I know the answer to it. Did I freeze? Why did I freeze? There we go. I don't know what that was about. I repinned it just then. What's I finna ask y'all? I think I know the answer to this. I have an honest question. When y'all go through the lives and you see like those women in India, not all, but they look like they're. So I see these lives and a lot of people film themselves sleeping, but then I see ones where they're like on a bed and then they put the blanket over and you just see the blanket moving. And then you'll see ones where they're just sitting in front of the camera. And I don't understand any of the words in the chat. And I don't understand any of the, like, and I saw one that was off camera doing something and it concerns me. That's why I'm asking. Like, something happened off camera, but then when she came back, she was crying. And I started to report the live because it seemed like some kind of violence had just taken place. And I think I know what they're doing, but like, how is that even allowed on YouTube? Charles said, no, for real though. Like, I think I know what they're doing, but also sometimes it appears violent, or I'll see it happening with children in close vicinity, not see what they're doing, but like, and I wish I could understand what they're saying on there because I be wanting to report it, but I'm like, until I'm 100% sure that what I think is happening, I don't. But also, like, I saw one and she was off camera doing something, and next thing I know, she's bawling, crying. That's so sad to me. I mean, listen, people do what they do. I ain't judging. I be concerned. I'll be concerned. And it's in a whole nother country, so I don't know what their laws are regarding that. But they don't all seem to be happy with what they're having to do. And it's very sad. Do you get what I'm saying? I know some of them don't care, but all of them don't seem to be happy with what they're doing. Stay in my lane. Okay, Charles told me to stay. I usually do, Charles, but it seems like people are being kind of abused in them situations, and I don't like it. I know they all the way around the world from us, but still, I don't like it. The guy said they be humping in the air. I don't know. I try to stay in my lane. However, some things I have to veer over into the other lane, Charles. Just to understand what is going on. Okay? Jovi in the chat. Hey, Javon. How you doing? Y'all say hey to one of my close friends, Javon, who I ain't talked to in probably 2 weeks. Hey, girl, hey. Oh. You have fun, girl. We going to North Carolina this weekend. We were going to go get on the boat, but the weather is not looking like that's going to be a safe decision. So, but we'll be at Pop's house. Okay, I will. Y'all say hey to Javon. Javon, double tap. Hit like first. I wish you could stay because we talking about staying in your lane. But you just have to come back. She's one of the best singers, songwriter, performers extraordinaire. Y'all, that girl can sing. She went to Georgia State with me. And we've been friends ever since. Okay, Dry say bye, girl, bye. She might have some of her stuff on her page. Y'all go check it out too. She probably rolling her eyes, but I don't care. Y'all go check her page out. A-Town checking in. Only to check right back out. Good morning. I hope you enjoy your day. Hey, Lamontra, how you doing? I'm finna see if she got her videos on here. She finna be mad at me. Ain't nothing over there, but I do have a song on iTunes. Yeah, if it had not been, you don't have that on here? You do have stuff on here. Why is it not? Why is that video or that song not in streaming form? I mean, why you don't have it on your YouTube? Let me see. Let me do it this way. Oh, here it is. It's under Javon Topic. You don't have it on your, you need to put it on your main page too. Stop sounding like somebody grandma on this chat. You know I don't know nothing about no internets. All that techie ticky. That WeTube stuff. Hey, y'all here? I'm finna embarrass you, Jovi. Oh, that girl be excited. Y'all make sure y'all download, stream on iTunes. You on Spotify too? You probably finna give me a copyright. Oh wait, I didn't mean to fast forward. Bye, Jovi. Have a safe trip. I'm gonna call you when I get off. Love you too, girl. First of all, Big Cat, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. You have swerved over into my lane. She is awesome. Listen, I'm telling y'all. That's why I'm trying to build up. Let me let this play. Let me let this play. Lamontra, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Glad to hear you're having a great Thursday. And Big Cat, I ain't forget about you either. We're gonna let her ride out for a second. Let me put this up. No, winner. No, winner. Let that man rest in whatever he rested in right now. Peace. turmoil, whatever it is, let them rest. Okay. So y'all make sure y'all go stream her song. Definitely on iTunes, possibly on Spotify as well. But that's why I want to that's why I got to wake my channel back up, y'all. I'm blessed to know a lot of talented people. I play around on here a lot because I don't ever sing out loud for real, but I'm trying to embrace my gifts as well. But I'm definitely surrounded by so many talented people. Like, she also does stage plays. I have footage from that too. She don't put her stuff on her page. We're working on her. The Lord working on her. I don't know why. The girl just got a voice of gold. Okay? She be playing. She be playing. But she was in season 1 of Javon, you still there? She's probably not there. Was it the Have and Have Nots? Is that the church one? She did some choir work in one of those shows. I think it was the Have and Have Nots. But just, yeah, that's what I want to capture in a lot of my vlogs. Getting back into my music family. They are so talented. Working on being more comfortable in my gifts. We was talking with Anthony about childhood trauma and stuff. A lot of it, I developed severe stage fright, y'all, at some point in time. And a lot of it had to do with childhood trauma. And never about anything with actually performing where I had any problems, just childhood trauma. So I developed so much anxiety, just would shake and sweat and all this. Working through that, I just really want to take y'all through that. And then my health journey. I don't know what staying in your lane means, but can you tell me, please? It means speaking on things with confidence only when you actually have expertise, experience, or solid knowledge on that subject matter. It's a lot of experts on YouTube who really are presenting their opinions, their outside looking in opinions as though they're fact, and then trying to guide a whole group of people or sell this advice as solid advice and guide a whole group, and really they're just confusing people even more, especially in the dating realm and things like that. I just want people to stay in their lanes. Well, welcome to the chat, Kit Kat Coyote. You're welcome. Y'all make sure y'all double tap that like for me. Make sure you subscribe. We have fun in this chat. You know what I'm saying? We have a good time. We have good conversation. Does she have any other songs on here? It says it's not that. That's the one we just played. I don't see any more. I don't see any more. All right, y'all. So I got to go. I got to take care of baby boy for his birthday. We got to go run some errands. But I thank y'all so much for joining me. I will be back on later. I might get back on live while we're out running errands, but I need to hop off now and get dressed. So I'll see y'all shortly. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. No, Big Cap. He was in the slow lane with a bunch of other people in the slow lane who wanted to be in the HOV lane, right? Now that ain't even a good analogy. He wasn't in his lane at all, Big Cap. He was over here looking over there and wondering how to get over there just with everybody else. But his method of getting over there was to pretend he had the golden ticket when he didn't. Kevin Samuels was literally, y'all remember the Wizard of Oz? You remember how they were off to see the wizard and what the wizard really turned out to be? That's Kevin Samuels. That is Kevin Samuels. People seeking out answers from this big all-knowing wizard when really the answer is in the journey. Did y'all get all of that from Wizard of Oz? The answers are found in the journey itself. If you're looking for courage, there's courage. You find that by taking one step and putting it in front of the other, right? Regardless of the fear you have in your heart. If the answer is about something from a heart space, you follow the desires of your heart. You first identify and then you follow the desires of your heart. I don't remember what all of them were. Courage, wisdom. Then the only way to attain wisdom is in the journey. They went all the way to see this wizard and they answered their own questions by following the path of life. Kevin Samuels is a wizard, was a wizard. All that glitz and glam. And he had absolutely nothing to offer people that they already don't have access to within themselves. He was in a Toyota trying to tell people how to take care of a Porsche. How about that? How about that? He was trying to advise people how to take care of a Porsche engine, and he riding in the Toyota. He got them going in the wrong side of the car in the first place. He has no clue. He had no clue. He didn't know what he was talking about. Anyway, y'all, I gotta go. I'll be back on later. Big Cap, thank you. Charles, thank you. Kit Kat Coyote, thank you. Antoine, you have a great day. Javon's already gone. Lamatra, thank you again for joining. McDowell family, I'm pretty sure they're gone. Anthony Alexander's gone. Talk to y'all in a little bit. Bye.